All right, we are recording now. I'm gonna put an intro
Heck
here, blah blah
yeah.
blah, talking about random bullshit. Join the Discord, stuff like that, and then it's the two of us. How are you going, Mister JustMoo?
I'm going very well. I had a good exercise today. My mind is pumping.
Hell yes. Can you see my screen all right?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Let's get this bad boy started. So specifically, we are going to be rating this on 1v1. This is not going to be the normal gameplay of 4 person or 3 person. This is specifically 1 versus 1. And having said that, Rude Dude is still the worst class in the game.
I honestly, yeah, I'm really. I think they're tied with Crash Landed Space Marine, just because of how much it
Really.
hurts to think that losing is okay.
I think that is a fair assessment
Yeah,
because
my whole reasoning is that I believe that people are less likely to be tempted to try and use the ability on Rude Dude than on Space Marine.
okay,
But if
this
you
is
use it,
very interesting.
my goodness, it sucks.
For sure. All right. Just for
Too
one
much
who is,
cost. Oh yeah, we should elaborate on all of this. The reason
yeah,
why Rude Dude sucks is it's very easy to avoid the ability by you don't even have to avoid quest. A lot of gear cards aren't that impactful to warrant like the cost of. It's not that high definition. How much is it? 2 tavern cards? No, it's
um,
3. It's an
I have it.
insanely high cost.
I have it pulled up right here next to me. I will read them out from now on. I think
The,
that would be the
yeah,
best way to
the
do it.
the whole reason why it's so low is because I cannot think of a single situation where 3 tavern cards would not provide you more value than breaking a gear card.
Yeah, I mean, even then, there are some really good gear cards that you can get. Like you can get the Ouija board, you can get the Boots of Ceaseless Kicking. But even then, I feel like trading three
Meat and
tavern
potatoes.
cards, meat and potatoes,
Yeah,
trading
which you
three
still
tavern
get to
cards.
use that the turn that you equip it because you have to wait for tavern for Rude
True.
Dude.
True. But even then, even if they're really shitty tavern cards, I feel like if I have 3 really shitty tavern cards in my hand, I would rather use that as padding for if I get stolen from or forced to discard than to break somebody else's gear
Absolutely.
card. Like the utility of just
Let's
having those cards is way better than getting rid of them just to break a gear card. It's a terrible,
1000%.
terrible class.
For timing for this video, do you want to try and keep everything around
Oh
30
yeah.
seconds to a minute?
I
All right,
think that
perfect.
that seems like the most reasonable way to do it. All right, next.
Yeah.
Let let's talk about. I'm gonna go down on a list from what I have down on my other monitor. We have Average Joe, which is a crazy way to go from Rude Dude. Average Joe is
He's
ridiculously
always been
powerful.
so good. It's so pitifully easy to achieve neutral weapons, and neutral
Yes.
weapons are stronger than elemental weapons in with very little exception.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Average Joe says during combat, for every equipped weapon part with no fire, water, or grass strength, add a +1 neutral strength to your weapon. As you were saying, there is a lot of neutrality with weapon parts in Fool's Blade, and one of the biggest issues with a lot of classes is the trade-off. And this is just free. This is just a passive ability you have always. You don't have to pay anything to get it. It's ridiculously strong. And I think
As you said, they're the most common. They're on average stronger strength than elemental, and elemental has cards in the quest deck that nullify them. Neutral has nothing targeting it.
yeah. So for that reason, Average Joe definitely goes in S tier. For one-on-one, I think it's also especially good because every little bit of
Mhm.
strength matters. I think with a one-on-one format, you're getting stolen from a lot more. You're getting targeted a lot more with different
Mhm.
abilities, and every little bit of strength matters all the much more.
Especially when you do not have to pay a single thing.
Yes. Next is going to
Yeah,
be
it's even
the
newbie friendly
yeah.
because it helps you build correctly for neutral strength
Yep, yep,
uh,
yep.
to achieve the effect.
Next, we're going to have the pickpocket. The Pickpocket says, once per turn during any player's tavern phase, you can discard 2 tavern cards to steal 1 random card from an opponent's hand. Let
Yeah,
you start
I'd
off on
like
this
to
one.
mention. Yeah, I have this in the overall class tier list for Fool's Blade in middle of B tier, but for a one-on-one, any effect that specifically is worse for another person gets stronger because there's no such thing as table politics and all. You're just trying to hurt them.
True.
But I think that only brings it to low A tier.
I was gonna say high B tier. I think
Oh,
again we're talking
I
about a lot of.
I I looked at my my tier list and I had different letters than you. Thank you for pointing this out. My D tier is your F tier, and then I have an A and an A plus. So my A tier would be B tier. I think this deserves low B tier.
Yes, I think that makes much more sense. I was questioning why you were putting Pickpocket in B tier
Yeah.
for a large game. That's questionable at best. But I think Pickpocket is a very middle of the road class for a one-on-one. Two tavern cards is a very standard cost to activate a class ability, and I think stealing from an opponent's hand is really good in one-on-one. And so it feels pretty balanced thinking about a lot of the other classes and how they work.
Yeah, it's very middle of the road. I agree.
Next, we are going to be having the Warlock, which says negate the effects of curse cards in your gear setup. You gain +2 strength for each. Curses still expire when their longevity is reached. Warlock has always been an A tier class. I think that has been
Mm-hmm.
true for the vast majority of Fool's Blade history. And I think on one, I think it gets a little worse. I think. I could be wrong
I
about
would
that.
actually argue a little bit better because on one, there's no such thing as table politics. The cards
Again, that is
that,
true.
well, there's only 2 tavern cards, but the gift for you tavern card becomes useless. The the table politics that other people could use to have curses removed
Yeah,
through weapon parts or class abilities like paladin.
true.
Um, Now that does not exist in a one-on-one, so having curse protection innately, I think, is strong. Plus, going questing, I think, is more incentivized because when you cast a fireball in a 4-player game, that's only hurting one of your 3 competitors. But on a one-on-one, whether you use the fireball on yourself or on your opponent, you see value.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't know why I said it was worse. I think it's much better. Even if we're talking about just the quest deck itself, the idea of not having to worry about getting cursed is so strong. Again, one on one,
Mm.
you only have one target you can use any of your cards for, and the quest deck is filled to the brim with cards that will buff opponents' monsters they're fighting, and gear cards that you can buff yourself. And although, yes, incentivizing you to go questing more does take away from monster hunting, which can lead to you fighting monsters less overall, which is a little bit risky, but having the ability to fight stronger monsters early on, possibly skipping past the cavern deck entirely if you get lucky enough, is pretty huge.
Yeah, not to mention the paranoia from just having quest cards in your hand would stop someone from going to the dungeon when they normally would have,
Oh, yeah.
or the cavern. There's also, I forgot to mention with table politics, normally getting cursed makes you less of a threat. Getting cursed in this means, hey, you're on the floor. It's easier to kick you.
True, true. Curses are all the more terrible in one on one. For
Uh-huh.
that, I
But
think
I agree with everything you've said.
for now, let's put this at top A. Could change, could change.
Yes, I think this is probably going to be the strongest A tier.
I
That may
agree.
change.
I feel like a lot of the A tiers either become kind of meh or become ridiculously broken, but we
What's
will see.
next?
Next is the Elementalist. During combat, if your weapon has any number of fire, water, or grass strength, increase your total strength of that type by 1, up to a maximum of 1 strength for each elemental type. Elementalist is
Yeah,
just a worse version of Average Joe.
so much worse.
So much worse. But I still don't think it's terrible. And again,
Yeah,
the same
that's so
thing with
crazy. it's being so much worse than average Joe still means you're A tier in my book
Still
because
means you're A
average
tier in
Joe's
my
that
book.
strong.
Once again, we're talking
Plus,
about free strength. Talking about free strength here.
yeah,
Although elemental strength is inherently a lot worse than neutral strength in the game, if you're talking about consistency, getting additional strength for free is still not a bad thing in the slightest.
yeah.
So
Uh,
I
Explain why neutral or why elemental strength is so much worse for them pre.
elemental strength is worse than neutral strength because it's incredibly inconsistent. You're either doing the amount of damage it says, you're doing double, or you're doing nothing. And if you're looking at statistics, there are way more neutral monsters than there are elemental monsters in every given deck. Actually, for the majority of decks, it is there are more element or more neutral monsters than elemental monsters combined. So very rarely are you ever going to be actually getting those bonuses. And then even if you do fight an elemental monster, there is a chance that the strength just does nothing. Then there's also the fact that there
Yeah.
are action cards and cards that will get rid of all of your elemental strength, like Curse of Colorblindness, or with the action card. I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head. I'll probably put it up on screen.
Um, there's two different ones. I think it's Forced Disenchantment,
Force
and
Disenchantment. Curse of
there's
Colorblindness and
another one
Force
that
Disenchantment.
removes your color and subtracts 2 strength.
Oh, I forgot the name of that one, but I'll put that one on screen too. That one's a big one.
But
But there's a
there's
lot of
also the
counters.
fact that there's so much more rare to find elemental weapons in the forge,
That's a big part of it too.
especially one of each type.
Yeah, it's
And you'll
it's
often find
risky.
a situation where you can find a 1 attack elemental weapon and a 2 attack neutral weapon, which is actually better even if you're elementalist because of the consistency.
True, very true. But yeah, I would say even then, Elementalist is still A tier because again, it's free.
Yes,
It's free damage.
strength is great.
Strength is great no matter what.
Okay.
Next is gonna be my goat, my lord and savior, Dumpster Diver. Once per turn during your tavern phase, you can discard 2 tavern cards to look at the top 3 cards from the quest or anvil trash piles, and place 1 card of your choice into your hand. Dumpster Diver seems pretty solid in a one-on-one. The recycling capabilities the card has are very strong. Playing an action card and then being able to get it back next turn, or being able to give yourself back parts that were destroyed either by monster lose effect or by your opponent forcing you to get rid of them, is a really strong concept.
Uh-huh. I agree with you if you can get it running,
Yes.
but that big if actually makes me think that this is worse in a one-on-one because with multiple people, there's more people funneling cards into the trash deck. But on a one-on-one, uh, there's less flooding in there, and your opponent has full control of holding back cards to not fuel you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even then,
Mhm.
we also have to remind ourselves that in a one-on-one, you are getting targeted by effects a lot more than you normally would in a 4-player game.
Mhm.
So you have to consider yourself: are the cards in my hand that I really like worth keeping around, the higher chance of keeping around, or do I want to get rid of these 2 tavern cards to get a card back that I might not be able to get a lot of use out of? It's all about that hand advantage.
Mhm.
So I
I
think
believe there's a tavern card. Doesn't It's my idea after all. Let you also replace someone's class ability, where you get to use it instead.
yeah, you get to use
I
it
remember there
instead
being
and you
something
don't
like
have to
that.
pay for the cost.
Yeah, this is a card that really suffers for that because that means that you will discard 2 tavern cards to get a strong card for your opponent. And although
Yeah,
that's only, I think, 2 cards in the whole deck,
that's true.
um, getting hit by it hurts so much that I'd say this
Absolutely.
is knocked down significantly for a 1v1.
I would say high C tier, low B tier seems pretty reasonable to me.
I want to say low C tier.
Really. We'll put it in C tier
Um,
for now and we'll see how it feels
I agree
later.
with that.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay. The next class we have is the only guy who came prepared. It says,
Oh my
after
god.
being dealt a handle card during game setup, this player is also dealt a guard, a blade, and a pommel. So you start the game with a full set. There is absolutely no explanation needed. This is an S tier without a doubt. I would say higher than average Joe. In a one-on-one game, in a
I
one-on-one
disagree with you
game,
on that.
we're really,
I think in side
really
quest, in a side quest one-on-one, which is what we're doing for the tournament, there's an argument to be made. Even then, I think average Joe is still better because average Joe would trigger like around +3 strength at the start of the game, but you have to spend a turn at the anvil digging around.
that is
Sometimes
true.
you get not lucky and you get only +2, but that's still like really strong. And the late game capabilities still arise even in a side quest game, especially in a one-on-one where you have more turns for the same amount of loot.
True.
So, like the late game capabilities of average Joe with little to no cost for your early game strength, I I would say make it so that average Joe is still better than the only guy who came prepared. But like,
I think that's fair. I think
I
on
don't think that's really
average,
saying anything against only guy who came prepared. He's fighting average Joe. Like average Joe just wrecks.
average Joe is incredibly, incredibly good. I will say the only guy who
They
came
only had
prepared
two.
does have the possibility of being better than average Joe because you could get a ridiculously good starting weapon. Like you could start off
Oh
with
my god, yes. If you get
photorealistic
Pixel Blade,
blade, photorealistic blade. You
yes.
could get the captain's cutlass pommel. You can get the photorealistic
Oh, if you
handle.
get the Captain's Cutlass pommel, that is absurdly broken.
I was just
It's
talking to my
mode.
friend about this earlier. Captain Cutlass Pommel is one of the best items in the game in a 1v1.
Yes,
Period.
I think it's the strongest pommel period, including
Oh,
legendary
easily.
weapon.
Really? You think it's better than the Okay, that's not what the tier list is about. Well, moving on.
And
We'll
the
we'll put it there
D20,
for now. Then
yeah,
the D20. You think it's better than the
especially in a
D20?
one-on-one, because I've had so many times where I just like hold someone against the ground and they cannot get up
Yeah.
because any card that they get that could have served them, I'm able to just like go in the go in the forest or the cavern and take it and then use it on them.
Interesting. All right. Next class is the Double Blade Berserker. During combat, you may assemble an additional weapon using any weapon part cards in your hand or stash. This additional weapon is broken at the end of combat. I think I think it's not terrible. I think it's
I
I
think
think
it's
it's okay.
what tier are you thinking?
I am thinking I'm thinking B tier. I think above pickpocket for sure, but I'm thinking B tier.
I was
I
thinking B, high B or low A.
I
I'm
agree
trying
with
to see
that.
if this gets better or worse in a side quest game.
Cuz here's the
Um,
thing with
and
DBB is it's a really good card. I mean, it is like off the rip. It does feel like a really good card. It is
mhm.
you're getting a secondary weapon that you can use in combat, which is really strong. But then you are also discarding those additional what cards at the end of combat, which is a pretty big minus. And if you've ever played with DBB, you know that actually getting your hands on those weapon parts can be surprisingly difficult.
It's
And
really feast or famine, yeah. It's
it's really
so
feast or famine.
oppressive if you can get a large hand size. Like you fight a monster that gives you more than 2 anvil cards, you're gonna demolish people.
I
But
just
it's
think
just really
DB
hard to get the momentum.
I think DBB is just too slow. I think it's too
I
slow.
don't
I
think it's
think
that slow. I would like to campaign for like more middle A tier than lower because it's still
mhm,
like very comparable to say guy with a gun. It's easy to find a duplicate weapon piece that other classes wouldn't normally use, but you're able to
right.
say +2 strength when I need it, which won't be too often because of how wide the monster attacks levels are.
That makes sense to
They're
me.
very varied.
I think we could put a low A tier. That seems
Mhm.
reasonable to me.
Would you say that this is like better or worse than guy with? Actually, we'll get to that when we get to guy with a gun.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Ooh, oh my goodness. You and me were talking about this card the other day.
Oh,
We're looking at the psychic now. Before you draw or
okay.
reveal a card from any deck, you can discard one card to look at the top two cards of that deck and place those cards back on the top of that deck in any order. This is, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, the
Mhm.
best class in the game for a one-on-one.
Period.
It is
Absolutely. This should be a
incredible.
tier higher than average Joe. Like
It
it's a
is
little worse than
so
it in
strong.
normal Fool's Blade, in my opinion. They're like about equal. But in a one-on-one, this means that you get good tavern cards and you get to choose terrible tavern cards for your opponent because the one you don't choose goes on top, and then they have to
Yeah,
draw that.
yeah. It's just
It's it's so oppressive. You
the
know exactly what to play around.
the information advantage you get. I mean, information is, I would argue, one of, if not the biggest resources you can get in Fool's Blade. And being able to get it consistently for not just one tavern card, for one card, period, discarding any one card to look at the top two of any deck. That is Tavern deck, that's Anvil deck, Quest deck, any of the monster decks, is so, so, so strong. And it also means
I
that
have to
you
butt in
can,
here.
yes,
Um, this I disagree with you slightly on this because the information can be amazing, but I find all of the value in the tavern deck. I think that more like you should basically just be using this ability in the tavern deck, and it's. I mean, at our level, we know all the monster strength.
right.
Um, but I've had a lot of times where I know that I can beat the worst monster in a deck, and there's no need to look at oh no, no, you're right. Actually, even when I could beat everything in a deck, it's still worth it to look because it could be something like Arrow Trap that gives me barely anything as a reward.
True. And even then, you also get to know, if you do use it in the monster deck, you also get to know what your opponent could be fighting next, which could change
Mhm.
how you play your turn or your opponent's turn. Like if you know your opponent's gonna be fighting a really hard monster in the forest and they play a I'm going bounty hunting, like you're not gonna counter that because you know they're gonna lose because you know what they're gonna be
Yeah.
fighting against. So
Hmm.
it's such a good tool. Psychic.
I'd still like
If
to
you're playing in the
caution for
tournament,
anyone at home,
continue.
anyone playing in the tournament, I still want to caution. The cost is cheap for this effect, but you definitely don't want to overuse it. And I think, like in games I play with Psychic, I wind up using it on the monster deck 1 to 2 times
I agree with that.
because you always want to be able to spend it on the tavern. You always want to spend it on the tavern. It's so impactful.
I agree with that. Next is going to be the monster in disguise. Any number of times per turn when another player is in combat with a monster, you may discard any number of cards. Oh no, that's the wrong version. We're using the nerf version. Any number of times.
Yeah,
No,
the one
okay.
where you can only do it once.
Monster in disguise says in this version, I'll put the correct one on screen. We're using the tournament, but you only get to use it once. You can discard a card and increase an opponent's monster by 2, because this one is ridiculously overpowered. Like, I mean, ridiculously overpowered, and it was nerfed by
Yep.
Circle himself. Circle himself says this was a dumb
Yep.
decision. We're getting rid of it. So,
I
this
think
is a
the
good card.
monster gained 12 strength pretty easily with that ability, and I felt really bad about it.
Yeah, it's a little bit strong. All right,
Anyway,
so
the actual ability we're doing here um, is pretty consistently a looming threat of
oh yeah,
+2 strength. You don't have to use this before the monster's revealed or anything. You can just use it if they're barely winning.
oh yeah, it's very very strong. It's a very good card. I think, especially in 1v1, your opponent always needs to be playing around the assumption that you're going to be using this class. So whenever they're fighting a monster, they must always assume it's going to have 2 more strength than what they assume it will,
Yes.
which can lead them to be a lot more cautious, play a lot more safe to their chest, which can lead to
Mm.
you taking the advantage, speeding away with the game while they're trying to catch up. And so it
Yeah.
itself, even if the ability might not actually be substantial, it might not be super useful. It's the idea that you're packing that punch in your pocket that'll always be in your opponent's head throughout the entire game. And I
I'd
think that
even
makes
say
it
it
a
is
really good.
substantial.
I mean, it definitely is
Like,
substantial. I'm saying even if it isn't
yeah.
substantial, your opponent's
Oh,
always thinking about it.
100%. Paranoia is such a great tool.
Would you say this is a high A tier or a low S tier?
So I'm struggling with where to put this in relation to other cards. Like, is it better or worse than Block?
I think it
Uh,
should go below Warlock but above Elementalist. I think that
that's
seems
exactly what
reasonable.
I was gonna say.
Oh my god, we're so
Yeah, this
twins.
is this is like a 2 strength difference with um, a 1 card cost only when it matters. But
Yeah,
Elementalist, you have to build around it and expose yourself to the weakness of elemental sapping cards.
absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Alright, next is the Cursed Painter. During combat with a monster, you may discard 2 tavern cards to change its strength type to your choice of fire, water, or grass. This effect does not work on neutral monsters. I'll let you talk about this one.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot this card existed, man. I this is it's it's so incredibly mid. Um, it works really well if it triggers, but the issue is that elemental monsters are so rare. And
There's so
on
many
top of that,
caveats.
you have to be fighting an elemental monster that you wouldn't have beaten um, without this ability. And you have to have 2 tavern cards prepared to use it. If it
And you
triggers,
also
oh my god, it's awesome.
if it triggers, and then even on top of that, you also need to have a weapon that has enough elemental strength to actually be usable.
Yeah,
So I
it's
think there
I
are.
see it as like betting on a roulette wheel on the green space. Like,
Oh yeah,
oh, you're gonna make a lot of money if it hits, but
it's
don't.
it's a fantastic class. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Like there's a lot of caveats in place for it to actually be usable. It's
Mhm.
needless to say, it's extremely situational. But when are in that situation, you can cook.
Yeah, it's strictly a
So,
good thing to have. It's
oh
that
yeah,
it's just the fact that the opportunity cost from not choosing any class above it um, is significant.
yeah. I would say low B tier. What do you think?
Yes, yes, I agree. Wait,
Cool.
I did the thing again. I did the thing again where I switched the letters. I would say low C tier.
Low C tier. Mm.
Low C tier. I think Dumpster Diver is better.
I think that's fair. I think it's a fair assumption. Speaking of things not being better than Dumpster Diver, a sketchy salesman. Once per turn, during
Hmm.
any player's tavern phase, you can pass 1 loot card from your stash to another player. Afterward, steal 1 card from that player's gear setup.
Oh, this one hurts in a
That's just
1v1.
it's just not a
Normally
good card.
you conspire with other people for power while you're going after someone else that you didn't pay, and
Sketchy
even then
salesman is
it's
really good with
tough.
table politics. It's good with
It's
table
great at table
politics.
politics, but it has the same problem of Curse Painter that you need so many things to go right. You need someone to get a a gear card that you're interested in. You need to have
Yeah.
beaten a monster already and gotten a loot card you're okay with parting.
Yeah.
Um, and like the stars don't align enough for it to happen early enough to matter. And in
Yeah.
a one-on-one, this means that you're paying your opponent. And I
I
think this is near rude, dude, for me.
I would say I would agree it's near Rude Dude. I don't think it's completely useless though. Because I think F
It's
tier
not.
goes to Rude Dude because Rude Dude is genuinely pointless. It is a
Yeah,
pointless
it
card to
hurts to
have.
use it.
Hurts to
This
use
is
it.
a. Th- I wanna specify F tier in my mind is for cards where it would be better to have nothing.
I
It'd be
agree with
better to
that.
not choose a class.
I agree with that. There is one other card that goes in F tier, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But for now, I think our boy Sketchy Salesman goes in D tier. I think that's a reasonable
I
spot for
I
that.
do want to campaign for F tier for Sketchy Salesman because I think using it in the tournament, um, it's too high of a cost, and
Mm,
it will like basically it's so easy to play around as your competitor You're incentivizing people to not go questing, which is what they should be doing. They should just be focusing on the monster deck. Like, it's training people to do a better play. So I'm between low D or high F, but I
Let's
think
put
it
it
belongs in F.
let's put it in D for now, and when we put some more cards on the table, we'll reconvene with Mr. Sketchy Salesman.
That's a good idea.
You are a big fan of this next card.
Oh, is that ice cream sandwich?
No, it is not. The next class, we'll get to that soon, is Blissfully Unaware Adventurer.
Oh,
Anytime a
I'm a
card
big fan of
effect
that. This
or
card is way
class
stronger than people say.
Anytime a card effect or class ability calls for a dice roll, you can choose to force a reroll. You can only reroll a given roll to be rerolled once. You are Mr. Blissfully Unaware Adventurer is the best card to ever grace this planet, so I will let you talk about this one.
Yeah, I get a lot of flack because I say that Blissfully Unaware is actually stronger than Average Joe, which a lot of people agree. He's definitely S tier. But the reason I say he's so much better is Average Joe is only good for you. Blissfully Unaware, on top of having no cost like Average Joe, on top of being good for you like Average Joe, is also terrible for your opponent. This means that if your opponent gets anything to do with dice rolling, it's immediately something they ought to shy away from. Like there's a legendary handle for the gambling man that rolls a d8 for its strength, and you'd honestly rather have more consistency with like a 3 attack weapon that is pretty easy to get there than taking the chances that I'm going to force you to reroll into a 1. Any monsters that you fight, any sizable trap that uses like a d20 or a d12 suddenly becomes a gargantuan task to ever. All the while, the exact opposite is true for the person who's using this class. Everything comes so easy to them. If they get their hands on basically anything from the gambling man, they run away with the game, especially the pommel or the handle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Blissfully BUA is a really, really good class, and I agree with that. I think in the normal game, it's definitely the best class in the game. I think specifically for a one-on-one, it goes to Psychic, but it's not close, but it's there. It's up there.
Yeah, I will say for one-on-one specifically, instead of being negative for 3 other people, this is only negative for 1 person. So I would be okay putting it lower than Average Joe for one-on-one specifically.
I agree with that. I
I
think
could
that's
really
that's a
lean
fair
either way.
assessment. I think it's worse than Average Joe. Average Joe is much, much more consistent, I would say.
Mhm. I still say though, like they're neck and neck for me. They're kissing each other.
They're making out.
They're yeah,
It's
they're
sloppy.
exploring
It's
every
wet.
part of each other.
Ugh. I see why we have those 2 emojis in the Discord. All the classes are making out.
Put them up on the screen. Put them
Put them
up.
on the screen. Editor, put it on the screen.
We have
All
such
right.
wonderful artists.
Oh yeah, and they do work. They do work of all time.
Who made that? Was it Lucky Monkey and for Showa or Purple?
Uh, I
I
don't know.
forgot who drew them.
Editor, put it on
Phew.
screen. You'll figure it out.
Great.
Next we have a class that will love to be your friend. It is the Paladin. Choose
Mm-hmm.
one or more other players and break one of their active curse cards. Gain +3 strength until the end of your turn for each broken curse. I think Paladin is worse in a one-on-one than it is in a normal game. Because
I agree.
if you're playing a full four-player game, you have more opponents that you could break curses from. You have more table politics you can play with, like, hey, can we be friends if I break this? Or hey, do you want me to like not break it from this guy because you hate him and you
Mm-hmm.
want to beat him? Like that kind of thing. But a lot of curses. Me and you talked about this. Well, me, you, and Furch did a whole tier list, which we're gonna be redoing that tier list about all of the quest
Ooh,
cards,
joy.
and we made a curse card tier list, and I would say around half, maybe a little less than half of the curses in the game, I would rather my 1v1 opponent just have for the duration than give me +3 strength.
There's an interesting thing to note about that, particularly, because I do agree. You don't have to break the curse as soon as it comes up. You can wait for the very second before it breaks and then use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the end of your turn going into your opponent's last turn.
Yeah.
Because curses tick down at the beginning of your turn. So if you do it
Mm.
on the turn they would get broken, you can get +3 strength. Basically for free. Which is cool,
Mm.
it's good, but at the same time, like it's +3 strength and it's pretty inconsistent. And I think the classes, a lot of classes on here are much more consistently useful and viable than Paladin will be. So, you know,
Mhm. I will say that I like the mental war game with Paladin that makes people think it's okay to quest because they might get their curse broken.
true. Oh, hold
That's an
on. Wait.
advantage. It's so small,
That thing you
but it
said
is an
about
advantage.
breaking your opponent's curse right before it goes out doesn't actually work because the +2 strength is only till the end of your turn. So if you do break your opponent's curse right before it goes out, then oh wait, no. You're absolutely right. I'm
No,
stupid.
you just do it the turn
You just
before,
do it the
which would
turn
be your turn.
before. Yeah, the beginning of your turn going into your combat
But
if you want to go to combat.
there is some star aligning that has to happen there. That turn specifically, you have to have a moment where the strength would matter.
True. And you have to go monster hunting that
Uh,
turn. If you want to get the most use out of it.
yeah,
This is assuming you're
it's
min-maxing the class, which you're probably not gonna be, but
mhm.
mm,
It's definitely better than nothing, but it's pretty darn close.
I would say I would say
I'd say bottom C,
I think bottom C makes sense.
like very bottom C.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
D is like for is it? It's arguably worse than having nothing, but sometimes it actually is nice. And
Yeah.
then I think very very bottom of C, it's like it is better than nothing factually.
Absolutely.
How much better? That's up for debate.
All right. Next class is the Witch Hunter. Gain +2 strength, neutral strength, until the end of each of your current turn for each action card that other players have played since the end of your last turn. I will say Witch Hunter is definitely another class that gets nerfed in a one-on-one because there are less players that could play action cards. But still, it's a solid card.
It's really
But
good. It's action card protection. It means that a fireball is only is only -1 strength.
yeah,
And such for other cards. Like in a game where your opponent is just going for the throat at you, there's no table politics to sidestep getting fireballed.
right.
It's nice to have protection, just straight up protection against any action card that would um, hurt you.
True. And even if your opponent does use action cards to buff themselves on their turn, they're also buffing you for your next turn, which is really,
Mhm.
really nice. Again, all for free.
I agree with you though. Of having two less people to play action cards does hurt this card.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. I would
Yeah.
still say it's quite solid. I would say low A, high B.
You're rating it more than I would. I in my original tier list, I rated it in A, which is your B.
Hmm.
The letters are weird. I don't know why whoever wrote this tier list made A plus tier.
That is
Um,
questionable.
so I'd say that it's worse than B tier. I'd put it in like
Really?
high to mid C.
I don't know about that. We're talking 3 strength just for
Would you
existing.
rather have? Would you rather have? Wait, 3 strength. I thought it was +2.
3. No, no, free. I'm saying free. It's free +2
Oh,
strength.
free.
Yeah.
Look at it this way: like, would you
I
rather
would
have
rather have
this
Witch Hunter.
ability or Dumpster Diver?
I would rather have that's hmm, that's tricky.
I think it goes right under Dumpster Diver personally. Like I would choose Dumpster Diver before. That's not true. I would choose this before Dumpster Diver. So
I
I
agree
would
with
put it
that.
above Dumpster Diver by 1. Oh, I'd choose this before Pickpocket
That's
too.
what I was about to say. I would rather have this over
No, you're
Pickpocket.
totally right. You're
It's
totally
high B
right.
tier.
I yeah, you're right.
No, that's what I was trying to say is I would rather have Witch Hunter than Pickpocket. I'm pretty sure you would too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All right. I mean, I would say personally, I would actually rather have Dumpster Diver than Pickpocket as well, but that's up to you.
I I have them rated very similarly. Like I have them on the same tier list on my or OG tier list. I
Hmm.
think that it's just that Dumpster Diver got nerfed harder. Like Dumpster Diver gets worse in a 1v1 and Pickpocket gets better.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say
Mm-hmm.
no, that's totally true. Next, we have
Whoa.
the Witch. Once per turn, when you play an action card, you may discard 2 cards to immediately return the expended action card to your hand. Witch is very good in a 1v1.
Wow. I disagree.
Really?
I wanted to love Witch so much, but the cost, I think it's 3 cards, right? Did I hear that
It's
right?
2. It's discard 2 cards, not 2 tavern cards, 2 of any cards.
2 of any card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's is the symbol I'm looking at is really hard to tell. That's pretty all right.
It's pretty alright.
It has star alignment as a problem that a lot of other classes don't. Like if you can get a card that's a good action card to repeat, like Fireball, or
Yeah.
one of the weapon cards, and you can supply it with enough weapons to repeatedly use, then yeah, this is great. This is great to just keep grinding it out and making your opponent suffer. But you have to find those action cards, and
Yeah.
I think that's a bait. Like
It suffers from
I
the
think
same
people get
issue.
too baited.
It suffers from the same issue that Dumpster Diver does, is there's just not enough cards being used for it to be super viable.
Yep. And
Because
I've seen which like someone tries to make it work, me, and goes questing and then gets cursed. And then I'm out of the game because I'm discarding a card every turn.
yeah.
Or worse. No, that's the worst curse actually. Um like
I
it's
w-
got such potential to completely dud out. I'd say it actually duds out more often than it succeeds.
yeah. I would say
Uh
I would rather
Probably like
have Witch.
240.
I would rather have Witch over Dumpster Diver, but I would rather have Pickpocket over Witch. I think is how
You'd
that
rather have
works in my
Witch over
opinion.
Dumpster Deck.
I'd
Oh
rather have Witch over
man.
Dumpster Diver. I mean, we're talking about it's if we're considering just the action cards alone, if we're considering just that, the Witch is 2 of any card. The Dumpster Diver is only 2 tavern cards, which is much, much, much more restrictive in the grand scheme of things.
Here's my reasoning on why Witch should be a whole tier lower than Dumpster Diver.
Wow.
It's that Dumpster Diver can go after gear cards. So you can do something where you break someone's gear card and take it. Or the same thing for anvil cards, which can be insanely valuable as a swing. Like
It
someone equips
can.
Steel Blade, the best like sword part that's not a legendary weapon. You break it, you grab it, you have just essentially won in that turn. Like that's so hard to come back from if they don't have anything to stop it.
Yeah. I mean, again, the downside of that
Um,
is you are using 3 cards, presumably, to get that back. 3 tavern cards to get that.
is it? Oh, because you have to break it with the first
You have
one.
to, because we're assuming they didn't break it from like a monster lose effect or something.
Yeah. I mean I'd argue that you're getting the value from that tavern card already, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
include it in the cost because you totally would break their strongest weapon card anyway, no matter what class you are.
Okay.
So it's not really like part of the use of the class. The I'd still count the use as just 2 tavern cards to get something back, which
Yeah.
is the same thing which is paying for, but instead of just looking for one type of card, you're looking for 3 types of cards. It's
Yeah. That's
going to
fair.
trigger so much, and
I
even
think
then
that is
it
fair.
doesn't trigger that much.
True. Very, very true. Hold on, give me 1 second. My headphone died. Oh, hold on. There we go.
But again,
We're
like
good.
it's a similar problem with all the other class cards of you have to have stars align, and it's great when it does, but man, the odds of it happening are so much lower than people imagine.
Yeah.
I think you have a pie chart of the exact spread of um the action cards, gear cards, curse cards,
I do.
and then of those action cards, there's only a few that are like really compatible with Witch. I'd say all of the weapon action cards, you don't even want to use those with Witch because the cost of sourcing weapons to use them a second time is too much.
That's pretty reasonable. I think really the only use you're going to be getting out of it action card wise is if you're playing something like Dual Wield or I Cast Fireball or Tidal Wave or one of the other elemental ones. Like, there's really not a lot of action cards you can use that you're going to get a lot of use out of with the Witch,
While
assuming you
we're
even get
on
those.
Witch,
I would say,
while we're on Witch, I'd also
do you want to
like
say low C tier? Does that seem reasonable to you?
I would put it in D above sketchy because I think this hurts people strictly for the quest bait. I've seen too many people go questing and get cursed because they didn't go in with protection because they want to use the witch ability.
I think that's fair.
Um, the one thing I want to mention with witch, and this applies to any card that uses cards to activate its ability.
Yeah.
You get a lot more prone to stealing because your opponent is looking at a hand of like a couple cards, 1, 2, 3, that they know are the cards that you chose to keep. So your hand is devoid of trash. They know that if they steal from you in this moment, they will get great cards.
Right. That's fair.
And if
All
anyone
right.
chooses Witch against me in the tournament, like I'm going to abuse that. I'm going to wait for them to use the ability, and then I'm going to take everything in their hand.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Next card. Blacksmith. When you visit the forge, reveal 5 anvil cards instead of 3. What do you think of that? What do you think of them apples?
It's just it's a solid card.
Yeah.
It's not too strong, um, but like really solid. I think in a 1v1, like you can really screw over somebody. Of you would have to get lucky with them not drawing a sword at the start, not going first and taking a sword from the original pile, um, or that happens and you have something to break their sword. But I think it's like enough of a threat to where you can bank on as an advantage of this card, keeping someone from unlocking a sword part for the entire game.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Where I would say it goes high B tier. What would you say?
I like that. I like exactly high B tier.
I think high
I
B
think
tier
it's better
sounds really
than
good.
yeah. I think Double Blade is better than it, and it is better than Witch Hunter.
That seems reasonable to me. I
Yeah,
think.
this is exactly where I have it in my general tier list. Uh,
Oh,
and while it does get better in a 1v1, I think it's about I think it's still in the same general ranking.
interesting. Okay. Okay. Next
I'll be above Curse
class.
Painter.
Crash landed Space Marine. After being defeated in combat by a monster, gain +3 strength, neutral strength during your next combat. Terrible. Really, 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 really bad.
Awful. We were talking earlier. He's kissing rude dude. They're making
They're
out.
they are slobbering and slurping, bro. They're all up
Yeah,
in there.
and the reason why is it. So many people are tricked to think that it's okay losing when you have this card. It's not. You're losing a whole turn of efficiency and getting punished. And
Absolutely.
often that punishment is way worse than having 3 strength. Like you'll lose a part of your weapon that was 4 strength, and then you have +3 strength. Well,
You
this
basically need to think about it like you're playing Paladin, which is already a terrible class, but instead of breaking a curse to get +3 strength, you have to get a monster lose effect to get +3 strength, and also
mm.
lose a turn or waste a turn pretty much. You must
I
fight
imagine it
and
as someone
lose a
saying
monster.
like I'll help you get buff, but I need to shoot you in the arm first. And it's like, wait, but I want to lift with that arm, and they're like, exactly. Why am I doing this?
I'm gonna give you +3 strength, but I'm gonna get rid of your photorealistic sword. So now you have
Mm-hmm.
overall -1 strength, and that +3 strength is only momentarily. Like it's just bad. It's not a good
Yeah,
card. It's
and you have to
unbelievably terrible.
you have to spend time doing this ritual, time that you could have spent doing something very productive.
Yeah.
You know the the archetype of like a witch or a demon who makes a deal with you and then shows you the life you could have had to torment you. It's like,
Absolutely.
and here's what you could have had: a monster that was two loot and gave you a loot card, and it was a legendary piece. But instead, I made you skip a turn, your next turn. It's like, no.
No! What have you done? All right.
But you have +3 strength, and then you fight a monster that you didn't need that strength at all. It had 2 strength, and you had 6.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough one. All right. Next class. We're almost done. We have 8 more. Oh no, 7 more. Cheater doesn't count. Screw you, cheater. All right. Coward. At any time during combat with a monster on your turn, you can discard 2 cards and retreat. Place that monster on the bottom of its monster deck. Afterward, you can choose to either visit the forge or go questing before ending your turn.
I love this card.
It's quite good.
I'm split between top of A tier and bottom of S because I
I don't
do
think it's
think it gets
bottom
better.
S.
I think it gets a lot better with a one-on-one. Maybe not a lot.
Not a
It's the
lot.
fact of that they're going to be going for your throat, and I think it's really disheartening to see like I could use a fireball on you, but you're just gonna leave.
Yeah.
Um,
I
any
will
any
say,
sabotage.
here's the issue I have with Coward is even though you are like retreating, you are discarding 2 cards to retreat. That is also still a turn that you're not winning in the monster deck. That is still a
Mm,
turn where you're sent to go do other things that could or could not be useful while your opponent is possibly doing better than you and being more consistent than you. I think it's
yeah.
really nice to
Here's
have the ability, but you're discarding 2 cards to retreat pretty. I mean, I don't know about consistently, but more than you would in a 4-person game.
here's the question I have is that compensated by the fact that you can take a risk and go into, say, the cavern when you have less than 12 potential strength? Um,
I think that
like
really I think
you're
that
now
really
gaining more.
depends. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, you're now gaining more uh, on average if you're able to farm out the cavern than the forest, and like being able to take that risk is something that only coward gives you the security for.
That's true, but at the same time, those are risks that are costing you. That is costing you possibly any monster hunting that turn. That's costing you 2 cards to discard. It's a very slow, methodical class, and I think in a one-on-one game, there are more cards coming your way. You're getting stolen from more. Your damage is getting reduced more. The monster's strength is getting increased more, and I think you'll be using coward a lot more, but you're still not gaining a lot from the usage of coward. You're still losing momentum, even if you
Mm.
are losing less momentum than you would from losing versus the monster. You're still not gaining a whole lot out of the encounter. You're losing
Yeah,
card advantage. You're losing out on monster hunting. It's a really nice card to have. It's good for padding. It's good defensively, but it might be a little too defensive and a little too expensive for what you're getting.
mm. I found, I think this is like two different schools of thought around coward because when I play him, it's a lot less slow and methodical than I usually play because I'm able to just say, screw it. If this plan goes wrong, I can escape with little consequence, and or I know that you have a fireball, but um, you're not going to make me suffer the lose effect and skip my turn. Instead, this will only make me go questing, and then I'll probably screw you over in some way.
Yeah.
Because
It's definitely
like
good for
it is,
fishing out.
yeah, it's worse to go questing than monster hunting, but it's definitely not like losing your turn. And
Okay.
you only need to pay the cost when things go wrong. So I can farm out the cavern for a couple turns, um, and and the only time I would actually need to pay is if I run into a strong monster or have an action card played against me. And because of the potential to just leave and ignore the effect, I think this provides a great blanket of protection
Hmm.
against someone ever using a card against you.
Yeah. You definitely have to play it very tactically. But if you do play it tactically
I
and
go
you
balls to
do,
the wall with this guy.
that's what I
I
mean.
only
Like you
turn
need to
off my
play it in a
brain
certain
playing this
way.
guy.
I don't know if that is as effective of a strategy in a one-on-one though.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I would say it goes in between Warlock and Monster in Disguise.
Hmm. I personally think it's better than Monster in Disguise.
That's what I was saying.
Well, that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. I I want to say it's better than Warlock because like this is an effect where if you ever need to use it, oh my god, it saved your life.
True.
Let me paint you a picture real quick. You're fighting against pacifist monk, mostly pacifist monk, and you're beating it by just a little bit. Your opponent casts a fireball on you, so now you're losing. And with coward, you can regain the turn that you're on with the monster because you get to go questing, and your next turn because that the lose effect was going to be that you skipped your turn. With any other class, if you're in a position where you lose against a monster with a nasty lose effect, that's it. Your game is done. There's not recovering loss of tempo or loss of card advantage. Coward is playing with a safety net, and like if we're gonna do for the tournament where there's gonna be 3 rounds, I think one of those rounds you're gonna have a moment where you would have lost this game. Absolutely, you would have lost, but Coward just saved you.
Right. That
Yeah.
is fair. I mean, you're not playing the same class all three games, but I get what you mean.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Um, there's still the safety net element of this. There's a danger that everyone else is playing with that you don't have to.
Right.
It's
Okay.
kind of like a seatbelt. I haven't used a seatbelt ever in my life. I mean, I use them every day, but like I've never needed to use a seatbelt. The one time I do, it will save my life.
Right. That is fair. I just personally I think the utility of the Warlock is better than the Coward, but I see where you're coming from, and I think generally people will probably agree with you more than they would agree with me. But who knows?
You know, I don't know why that reminded me of this, but I actually agree with you that it's worse than Warlock because in a game with more people, it's better in the sense that instead of using a terrible card against you, they use it against someone else.
Right.
But in a one-on-one, they're just going to sit on that card.
Yeah.
So yeah, for that reason, I think the Warlock would be better.
So, you just made a long-winded explanation only to agree with me.
Hey man, I
All
gotta think a lot so that people trust what I say.
right, fair enough. Fair enough.
And you made a
Next,
compelling argument.
next we have the demonic puppet master. When another player leaves the tavern and chooses a destination, you may discard 2 tavern cards to choose whether that player visits the forge, goes questing, or goes monster hunting. This is a really good card in 1v1. This is a
Yes,
really good card in 1v1.
this is great in 1v1.
I would argue,
It's skipping like 2 turns over the course of the game, maybe 3.
yeah. I mean, consider if you're at the very end of the game, you're both
Uh huh.
monster hunting in the cavern and in the dungeon, and you've been saving up tavern cards, you could just deny your opponent from doing anything for the last 3 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's
I think you
some
would have to
really good
stagger it a
utility.
little bit for
Oh
the sake
yeah,
of card generation.
right.
But yeah, like you could pretty easily skip someone's last 2 turns, which are their money making turns. That's where they're like gaining 6+ loot on average.
Absolutely.
No, it's higher than 6. It's like a monster would be 3, and then you get like cards. It's like loot on average.
Hmm.
I'd have to crunch numbers more to give a solid answer.
I just think
The
the
point
idea
is,
is
we deny their money making.
I just think the idea is really funny. Is if you use I saw it in a dream, and you look at the top card of the quest and you see it's a curse, you could just send your opponent to get that curse,
It's
which is
great. I
super
love
messed
that.
up.
Yeah, that's what's funny about that is that's easier to have happen than witch popping off.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it is more expensive because you are spending a total of 3 tavern cards, but you are giving your opponent a really bad curse and also denying them going monster hunting if they were able to that turn. Seems pretty good to me. All right, I would say Demonic Puppet Master is. Hmm.
I want to say like, is it better or worse than Warlock?
I would
Is it an
say
S?
I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think
think it's S.
I think Warlock is generally going to be better than Demonic Puppet Master, but not by a lot.
I think it's such this class probably has, aside from Psychic, the best increase in potency from being
Oh,
in 1v1.
100%. Demonic Puppet Master was pretty mediocre in a 4-person game, but in a one-on-one, the amount of control you get over your opponent is really good. I would
Yeah, he's still
no
held back by no early game anything,
no early game
and
anything and a 2
you
tavern
have
card
to
cost.
spend tavern cards that could have helped you anyway.
Mhm, mhm. I think
So
it's
like,
purely because the Warlock gets its abilities for free and is much more consistently usable. I would say
mhm.
it goes right here, right between
I
Coward
th-
and Warlock.
I would say Coward's better. I'm
Hmm.
not certain of this, but if I had to pick between the two of them, oh, damn, I don't know what I'd pick between the two of them actually.
Coward is good because it is going to be helping yourself. Demonic Puppet Master is good because it's going to be helping yourself by hurting your opponent.
Yeah, man, I think I would choose Demonic Puppet Master over Coward.
I agree. I agree with
Yeah,
that. I think I would too.
I'm actually looking
Um,
at Coward again, in the context of what I would choose over something else, and I think I'd choose Monster in Disguise before I chose Coward.
I would agree with that. I would definitely wouldn't
Yeah,
choose Elementalist over Coward though.
I agree with that.
I think I would choose
Close.
DB. I would choose DBB over Elementalist though.
I agree with that. That's very solid. That's very solid take. Would you
Yeah.
choose DBB over Coward?
No, I don't think I would.
I agree.
I don't think DBB is going to be consistent enough to be better than
Okay.
Coward.
Who's next?
Fisherman. Once per turn during any player's tavern phase, you can discard 3 tavern cards to draw 1 loot card. Pretty damn terrible.
Yep. I
Pretty
disagree
damn
with
terrible.
people. I put him in F tier.
I agree with
Because
that.
he provides like no tempo unless you get a legendary weapon.
True, true.
Uh, but like you're actively, even then I think you're still at a loss of tempo because 3 tavern cards
Hmm.
um is so much.
It's a
There's so
lot.
many things you can do with 3 tavern cards, even the bad ones. Even then
Absolutely.
it's padding in your hand. So it's like,
Hmm.
yay, I got a loot card. And then your opponent, like I was saying earlier with Witch, they see a hand that is condensed of good cards.
Oh
So they're
yeah.
able to just take great things from you.
I would say like 99 times out of 100, I would rather have the 3 shitty tavern cards in my hand as padding to protect my good cards than trade them in
Oh,
for 1 loot card.
I just remembered why, like the biggest reason why this is thoroughly an F for me. It's because of the it was my idea after all card. This card is the worst to have that cast on
Oh
because
yeah. So
you've just given your opponent a loot card and spent 3 tavern cards to do it.
for context, I'm gonna put it up on screen, but it was my idea after all. Basically says counter an opponent's class ability or tavern card and use that card instead, your opponent still pays the cost for any class abilities, but you do not have to. So that means if someone does play the Fisherman and discards 3 tavern cards to get 1 loot card, and let's just say Moo plays It Was My Idea After All, I still have to discard the 3 tavern cards, but then he gets the 1 loot card, which is ridiculous.
It's
Which is
such a huge swing.
such a huge swing.
It's
Although it
only
is,
2 tavern cards that do this, but if it happens, it hurts so much.
oh yeah,
Like, this catapults him into the F tier.
oh yeah, super super bad. Next we have Guy with a Gun. Up to 6 times per game. Well, up to 6 times per game, and once per combat, you can add +2 neutral strength to your weapon during that combat. Keep track of remaining uses with a D6.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
Fun thing about this card, the D6 does not matter. I've never seen anyone run out of bullets in any game. I've
oh yeah,
tried. I cannot run out of bullets.
it's surprisingly difficult.
He is an unlimited +2 modifier.
I would say it goes right in between Demonic Puppet Master and Monster Disguise.
Yeah, in this, in a 1v1 specifically, this and Monster Disguise are very similar.
Very,
They're
very
a
similar.
2 strength swing between you and your opponent. One gives
Yeah.
2 strength to you, one takes 2 strength away from your opponent. I agree with you that I think having 2 strength is better than taking away 2 strength from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, no, this is obviously better than Monster Disguise because it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, it basically doesn't cost anything. I will say there is definitely more times you would use Guy with a Gun in one-on-one because you're being targeted a lot more. But I still do not see a situation in a side quest game you would ever run out of shots. I
You're never
even
gonna run out.
even
I've
when
never
you are
seen
hard
anyone run out of
targeted.
shots in a full game.
Absolutely. Okay.
I
Next.
have never seen anyone run out of shots. Period. It's not like possible. It can't happen.
Ooh. Next class. I remember during the very beginning, the ye olden days of Fool's Blade and the first ever tier lists, you and me disagreed heavily on this class. But I'm definitely agree with you now.
Oh yeah.
The Mushroommancer.
Oh,
Gain +2 plant strength during combat for every plant monster in your stash. It's just not that good.
mm-hmm.
It's not that
There's
good.
not a lot of
They're
flame monsters.
I mean, I will say the plant monsters are the most monsters in the game. I mean, elemental, the
The
most
most of
elemental.
the elemental monsters. But that means of the third of the decks that are elementals, a little more than a third are plant elementals.
It would be not even a third of the deck. It would be like a sixth of the deck is plant monster.
I think
Because
it's
it
a ninth total of like a
really,
total deck. Because it's like a third of all the monsters are elemental monsters, and then the elemental are split roughly into threes.
yeah,
So I think it's like it is more than the other elementals by a bit. So maybe like an eighth of
yeah.
the monsters you'll fight are
Mhm.
plant, and maybe that goes up to like a 7.5 in
I don't even know.
the forest.
I would have to look at my stat sheets, which I'm not right now. These are just like
Yeah, pull up
vague
the exact
guesses.
numbers.
I don't care enough.
These are the odds of each deck of Elementalist if Tree decides to do it.
I will not. I refuse. I will not pull out the
uh,
nerd sheets.
the
Anyway, it
biggest thing when I was taking a lot of heat for my hot take on Elementalist, the biggest thing I looked
you
at
mean
is
Mushroommancer.
Guy with a Gun does it at the very start for no cost. Elementalist has to do it twice to get about equal value of Guy with a Gun because you have to make
Elementalist
up
or
for the turns where you
Mushroommancer?
Mushroom. I said
Oh,
the wrong word. Mushroommancer has to get 2 to be around equal with Guy with a Gun because you have to make up for the starting turns where you had nothing,
right.
and Guy with a Gun did.
Yeah. Having said that, I mean, it is still free. You don't have to do anything, just like play the game and you'll get free
Mm-hmm.
strength if you're lucky. Again, if you're lucky, And already on top of that, elemental strength is kind of garbage 9 times out of 10. And again, we're already saying that the most amount of elemental monsters in the game are grass monsters, which means that statistically it's just going to be neutral strength with
Yeah.
a like maybe chance of either being nothing or being 4, which is
Hmm.
like it's kind of cool, but also are you going to get those plant monsters? Probably not. If you do, you're at most going to get 1 or 2. Plus
Mm.
4 strength is kind of cool, but I would much rather have the utility and consistency of a lot of the other classes on this tier list than
Yes.
the maybe strength you get from Mushromancer.
I worry that we might be a little overselling how bad this class is because
Oh
originally
no, it's
people
not
thought it
terrible.
was S. This is a good card. Like
It's definitely a good
getting
card.
2 strength uh, fairly often. Because if you grind out the forest deck,
Forest.
you'll probably find one of them eventually, and then this just sticks with you permanently. It's good. I put it. I think it's even better in a 1v1 because you're able to go through more of the monster deck. There's less people to split the turns amongst. I
Yeah.
put it like I don't know where, somewhere around Witch Hunter, Pickpocket. I think it's worse than Witch Hunter. I don't know about Pickpocket. What do you think?
I I think I'd rather have Mushromancer than Pickpocket because again, we're talking about a free card. Actually, is that
Mhm.
true? Because if your opponent plays poorly, Pickpocket can be really good because they'll have a few cards in their hand, and you know they're probably good ones, or like,
Mhm.
eh,
Pickpocket does
eh.
become pretty bad if someone is able to get the ball rolling, like get a lot of cards in their hand. But other classes that are above Pickpocket still stay great. Like I think the best 2 are Monster in Disguise and Puppet Master. Your
Yeah,
opponent can be doing great, and those still suck to fight against. But Pickpocket, like, um, if they got more than 6 cards, and like they're
right.
thriving. They don't really care too much about getting stolen.
I would say Pickpocket is innately a good card against classes like Dumpster Diver and Monster in Disguise and Coward because your opponent
Oh,
is getting
for
rid of
sure.
they're getting rid of their shit cards a lot more often, and that gives you an opportunity to pounce when they play their class abilities and pick up some of their better cards. And I think mm, but again, a lot of those are really high tier and are often going to get um banned if they are up on the table. I would say I would choose Mushromancer over Pickpocket.
I agree. I'd do the same, and I'd choose Witch Hunter over Mushromancer because I think it's easier to get the +2.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Next, we have the Village Menace. When you leave the
is it?
tavern, you may discard 2 tavern cards to choose 2 destinations. Visit the forge, go questing, or go monster hunting. Reveal cards from those decks simultaneously. Select one set of revealed cards and send them to the bottom of their respective deck.
I have so many words to speak about this card, and all of them are
All of them are what?
this. This card is so solidly an F tier. It costs
Really?
too much to do its effect. It You don't get to know what you're actually fighting. Like with Psychic, you get to know what's on the top. This one, um, you could remove curses from the quest deck, and then go in and you don't know what's in there. So more curses for you. um, it's like the advantage of knowledge of knowing what's in there is guaranteed worse to uh, tavern cards. What those 2 tavern cards would do for you is always better.
Interesting. I honestly have never seen a single person ever use this class. I have not given it a single thought ever. Like
Yeah,
maybe once or
because
twice.
it's awful. I used it, and it's one of the quickest ways to delete your hand and have nothing to show for it.
That is so
It's a
interesting.
great way of there's a really fun thought experiment I had with watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because they have a character who can read the future, but it's an exact future. It will happen no matter what people do to prevent it. And it's like, oh, that's useless. I'm like, I get to see the future and I die in the future. Is there anything I can do to change this? No. Why did you give me this power? This is similar because it's like, oh, and here's what's in the monster deck. It's something that'll beat you, and it's like, whoa, what can I do to do that? And it's like, well, if you had a tavern card, you could do something, and it's like, oh, I use tavern cards to use this ability, and it's like, that sucks. Do you want to send this monster to the bottom? Sure, and then I'll fight whatever's on the top. Oh, it also beats me. Like, it sucks.
Not great. Not great. I agree with you on that. All right. Last, but certainly not least, your favorite class, the one who always
Yes,
gets lost.
I
Begin the
love this
game
class so
with
much.
2 extra quest cards. Whenever you go questing, roll the d20. If the result is a 1 to 5, the other players agree to send you to visit the forge or go monster hunting instead. If the result
What's
is
so
a
funny
6 to
about this class?
14, draw 2 quest cards as normal. If the result is a 15 to 20, draw an extra quest card.
Do you notice how I started talking before you finished the card?
Yes,
Um,
because you have a note about that first part.
it's it's because I completely forgot that it would keep going. The second half of this class is awful. It's a debuff, and you can largely ignore it and never go questing once. That's what I do when I play this class. The whole benefit is 2 quest cards that you get at the start of the game. It provides immediate flexibility that you can use to start a snowball early and screw over your opponent in very fun ways.
Hmm.
Because tavern cards are flexible. I'm not tavern cards because quest cards are flexibility cards.
Hmm.
Um, just starting out with 2 extra quest cards. That's sounds like you got an extra turn and you were able to go questing, but it's actually better because these are guaranteed to not be curses since they're drawn at the start of the game.
Right. Yeah, the one who always gets lost is a ridiculously good card. I mean, starting with 2 extra quest cards is super, super strong. I mean, the debuff is
Mhm.
unfortunately pretty bad. It can be
I
really
disagree. I think it actually helps to just not go questing ever.
well,
That's
yeah,
like a
but
good technique.
that's fair. Is it realistic though?
Yeah, I've done it all the time.
I
This is
don't
my
know.
favorite class. I play them like all the time,
In a
and
one-on-one game, you're using quest cards a lot more, specifically action cards. You're using action cards a lot more than you normally would, or like they're more
I
concentrated.
agree. But I think that since you get the turn efficiency so early in the game, it's easy to start a snowball and then
Right.
not need to go questing because it's like, well, I can beat everything in the forest and I'm ahead of you. And if I just stay ahead, I don't have to take a big risk. I don't have to go in the cavern to try and get
Right.
more income. Like if I just keep grinding out the forest, I'll win.
Right.
And talk about the paranoia from this card. Like, this is going to delay people even starting in any monster deck because you could have a sword toss. That's 5 - 5 strength to them.
True.
Um,
True. Or
sometimes you
you
can
could
just
have fireball.
outwardly put it on the field of like, yeah, I have this vial of monster pheromones, and the next time you go monster hunting, you're gonna have +5 strength to the monster, and it's like, well, that sucks because my weapon actually has 5 strength, so I'm guaranteed to lose even to Jim.
Right. Yeah, I would agree. One always gets lost is really, really good in a 1v1. It gets better in a 1v1 than on 4 player. I would say it's
I don't know.
still
I think the because with a 1v1, there's more turns per player because there's less turns to go around. I mean, less players to divide turns around. So it benefits from it being side quest, but it being 1-on-1 actually like lengthens the game for you.
yeah, yeah.
And I saw a major advantage for the one who always gets lost being table politics because people don't know what you have in your hand, so you can bluff around like, "Oh, do this for me, and then I won't fireball you. Steal from him and not me, or I'll fireball you."
Yeah,
But in a 1v1, it is just go for the throat. And then at the
right.
same time, like it's better in a 1v1 because you can just let all these terrible cards rip on your opponent with,
True.
without a second thought.
And even if you don't have like really strong cards in your hand, your opponent doesn't know that. Starting the game, with your opponent having 3 quest cards, you don't know what they are. They could be Knife Toss, they could be Fireball, they could be Knuckle Bracers, it could be anything that would screw you over. And you have no idea, and so you just have to prepare and assume the worst. And that's gonna give
Yeah,
you an innate advantage on top of the cards that you have in your hand. And I think that's really strong. I would say, though, it's still not as good as the guy who came prepared, the only guy who came prepared.
that's facts. That's true.
It's still not as good as that because, again, starting with a full sword set is super, super strong. And you can make an argument that, oh, but what if you get a really terrible parts at the beginning of the game? In response, I would argue, what if you get really terrible quest cards at the beginning of the game with with the only one who gets lost? I would say they're two sides of the same coin, but the only one who came prepared is still the better part of the coin or the better side of the coin.
Yeah, he's 3 turns of efficiency, and the guy who always gets lost is um like
Two
he's
turns.
one
You
really
start with one
good
part.
quest card. Hmm?
It would be 2 turns of efficiency because you can go ahead and assume that the part you start the game with in your hand is not going to be a handle, and even then you're going to use that to reforge anyway. So it's 2 turns of
I think it's
efficiency, not 3.
I think it's 3 turns because you get 3 more cards. You get the blade, the guard, the pommel that people don't. Um, and just strictly speaking, with card advantage, the only way you could get 5 forge cards total is if you spent 3 turns in the anvil, not including
Wait, what do you mean
tavern cards that
five
let you go
forged?
multiple.
Oh
Because
no,
you
no, I
have the
see what you mean
four in
because
your
you have
weapon
5 total.
and the
Yeah,
one in your hand.
that makes sense.
Yeah, where other
Okay,
people only have one on their weapon, one in their hand.
got it.
Um, I
All right.
would say, I think that the one who always gets lost is worse than guy with a gun.
Yeah,
He's my favorite class. I don't think he's the best class. I'd even say like I think I'd choose DBB. No, 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 no,
no,
no.
I wouldn't
I
choose
personally
DBB.
would choose this guy over more cards that I think are stronger because I like him so much. But strictly going for the win, I'd choose Monster in Disguise over this guy.
Yeah,
Because this is a question on if I get something that can screw over my opponent, and it would be temporary, and it could be stolen. Monster in Disguise will screw over my opponent all the time.
right.
Coward has the safety net, and is the safety net better than the questing? Uh Actually, no. I think being able to have reach is better than the safety net. So I think he's below Monster in Disguise, but above Coward.
I agree with that. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
On that note, that is all the class cards. Do you want to make any changes before we say that this tier list is complete?
Let me run through them really quickly. Would I choose Psychic over everything else? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think everything else in S tier looks right. Um, I would
I
put
feel really good
Mosquito at
about
the
A.
top in normal. S is good. A is.
I feel good about A.
Uh, I like it. I'm wondering how great the demonic puppet master, because you only have one person to cast your iron on, and this might be something that's ultra dominant. Because I was saying, like, in your final 2 turns, you could expect to get like around 9 loot a turn,
Mm-hmm.
which is game deciding,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to just cut someone off of that, like, does that warrant an S tier? Or is being held back by having absolutely nothing to help you in the early game that damning?
I would say the two cancel out.
That's facts.
I would say the two cancel out because if you're playing Demonic Puppet Master, assuming that you want to screw over your opponent in the late game as much as possible, you're going to be playing a lot more to your chest and conservatively in the beginning. And we're
Yeah,
going to go
I
ahead
want to
and we're
posit
going
a
to
question.
yes.
Which one would you rather have your opponent pick? Would you rather go up against someone who's playing Warlock, or would you rather go up against someone who's playing Demonic Puppet Master? What would
Ooh.
give you the most chance of winning?
I I would rather go against somebody playing Demonic Puppet Master.
Hmm.
I think Warlock is more scary.
That's reasonable. That's really reasonable.
I think if you're thinking about it
I'm thinking
throughout
about it
the
a lot, but I
entire
think I
game,
overall agree.
I think if you're looking through the entire game, if you're looking through beginning to end, you're playing against a class, which one of them is going to be more substantial for your opponent and more of a downfall for you. I agree that Demonic Puppet Master is scary. And I agree that you have to be considering when your opponent is going to be just saying, "Nuh-uh, go here instead."
Mhm.
Especially, what I will say though, Demonic Puppet Master does do one thing really well. It discourages you from playing combos. Because let's just say,
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I
yeah,
didn't even factor that
yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah,
you
that's
play
a
this
big
as soon as
part.
someone says that I'm feeling
As
that's not what
long
the
as
card is.
long as I have two, if I'm
Got
playing
time to kill.
Demonic Puppet Master, and as long as I have two tavern cards in my hand, I am. You are never going to be playing any tavern combos. You're never going to be playing. You're never playing bounty hunting. I'm never letting you play bounty hunting. I'm never letting you play. Um, I'm feeling hostile. I'm never
Yeah,
letting
bounty hunting
you.
is the one that gives you two loot as the win effect instead
I'm
of
I'm
something
gonna put
normal.
them all on screen when I reference them.
Yeah.
But when they're referenced, I'll put them on screen for the video. I'm gonna do like a. There's gonna be two versions. I'm gonna upload the raw footage, and then I'm gonna upload an edited version of the video as well.
Oh, smart.
Okay, but Demonic Puppet Master is really good for stopping your opponent from making big plays because they're always going to be worried, like, oh, if I play these tavern cards, they could just become useless instantaneously because you just stop me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sure, I'm what's that one card? Ba, 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 ba.
You talk about the turn
I got time to
efficiency
kill.
card of
I've got time to
yeah,
kill.
I got time to kill, or I'm feeling hostile, or both
Yeah,
because they stack.
they do stack. But even then, I mean, Demonic Puppet Master, let me go back to that card real quick because I feel like this is a question. It is whenever
I'm
player.
wondering now, like denying the turn efficiency is so big. Like I think that makes me more scared of it than Warlock,
I think I
and
agree
I
with you.
wonder if that gets into S tier. I think that's enough to warrant S.
Mm, mm,
I'm really doubting this though, because it gets nothing early game,
true.
and that's such a big deal to be able to snowball or not.
I mean,
Like I'm wondering, the thing of yeah, I'm making you uh so weak, but I'm even weaker.
right, right.
I
It is. It is
bought an extra
good.
turn.
That is really strong. But even then, I still, despite having said all that, I would still rather play against it than I would play Warlock against Warlock.
Yeah, I'm really chewing on this card because there's a lot to consider.
There's so
And I
much to
think the main
consider.
thing that's cementing me away from S is the fact that when you're denying someone turns at the end of the game, you have to be able to clean out the loot deck before they start doing things again.
Yeah,
Um, and that's hard to do if you had nothing to give you a leg up early game.
right.
Yeah, and for those of you
I
wondering why Monster in Disguise is so high, despite that, like, man, it screws over people so much.
Oh yeah. I would say on average from games I've seen, the majority of the time, especially in the early game, you're only beating monsters by 2 or 3 strength. Usually.
Uh
You're
huh.
not beating them by a lot. And so
I
in the
mean,
situation which you.
sometimes I do see a lot because there's the occasional slime
Oh,
and
right, of course. Occasionally,
under
yes.
tripping.
But
Like that
also like
happens, but you don't even have to like really consider that because everyone wins against those.
everyone wins against those, right? So yeah, very good. Having said all that, I am happy with where this tier list is right now. This feels very solid.
Hmm. I'm very happy with it too.
Yeah.
I don't think. I know that like later tonight I'm gonna be taking a shower and being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't put salesman in F because there was an interaction I forgot about." I mean,
Yeah.
wait, can't you use sketchy salesman with it was my idea after all, and then
Uh,
someone
you already mentioned that.
pays
You already mentioned that.
you with sketchy salesman? How would that work?
You
You passing the loot card is the cost. So I gain a loot card and I take a gear. But you have to
mm,
have a gear.
what does that card actually say? Now that I'm thinking about it, here's my idea
You
for all. Let me see. Let
when
me go
someone
to it
plays
real quick.
a tavern or a quest card or no, a tavern card or activates a class ability in the tavern, you can play this card to activate it instead and pay none of the cost.
Yes, that is correct. But then
I don't think that's
you
verbatim,
do
but
not pay
legit.
the. But the question is, where does the loot card go? Because I don't feel like the loot
I,
card goes to you. I mean, no, it still does.
is it a cost or is it part of the effect? I think it's a cost because you're buying.
Uh,
Like literally the flavor of the text is you're paying somebody, which is weird because he's a salesman who's buying from you. Oh no, he's selling the artifacts. That's how that works.
Hmm. The card
Um,
specifically says once per turn during any player's tavern phase, you can pass one loot card from your stash to another player. Period. Afterward, steal one card from that player's gear setup. I think the period is important there. I think the
yeah,
period implies that that is a cost.
yeah. So I think you would get paid a loot card and take a gear from their gear setup. But more often than not, I think the sketchy salesman won't have a gear card, or will have a gear card that's not worth a damn.
That is a very weird
So
interaction. That is a very strange interaction.
I mean, like you get to protect your gear.
Yeah.
That's about what that would do. Um, I don't even think you do that. I think it's more worth it to say it was my idea after all. To like, hell, even just use it to cancel a turn efficiency card. Like, why do I keep forgetting the name of Guess I Got Time to Kill? You don't get to
Oh,
use the Guess I Got Time to Kill yourself because it's not your turn, but you get to cancel it, and that's worth it. I think that's more worth it than this.
I would agree with that.
Mm.
All right.
And it's obviously more worth it to like steal from someone instead of letting them steal from you.
Right.
God, that card is strong.
On that note, I think we're done. This
We
feels like
got
a
it.
really good tier list. I think for all players in the Fool's Blade 1v1 tournament, I would recommend giving this video a watch and, taking advantage of the information given to you. Your final takeaway from this, which is also your final takeaway for Fool's Blade in general, is card advantage is king. Card advantage is absolutely king.
I and turn efficiency,
And
which
turn
usually comes
efficiency.
with card advantage.
Those are
They're
those are
very
usually one
similar.
of the
They
same. Usually one of the
exchange
same.
for each other. It's kind of like a time is money thing.
Right. All
Um,
right.
I actually do have an idea of something else we can do. Do you want to really quickly run through what each tier means?
I have to go watch a play.
Oh, have fun.
I will. It's Shakespeare. I'm very excited.
All right. If you want, yeah, you can edit in um, what each tier is later. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
up
yeah.
to
We
you.
can do
I don't
that.
think that you even need that. I've mentioned it multiple times in the videos.
Yeah, it's fine.
Uh, yeah. All right. Have fun watching Shakespeare.
I will.
This was a
Thank you.
delight.
This was absolutely a delight. Me, you, and Furch are gonna
Hour
remake the
30
quest tier
well
list.
spent.
Absolutely closer to hour 40.
I timed it. Oh, I didn't count from when we started the call. I counted to like when we were in tier list moving stuff.
Actually, it says right here on my little red dot. It says hour 38 minutes and 15 seconds and counting.